Good morning and happy Shamanic Sundays.
Buenos dias. Good morning.
Hi, Dad. How are
Hey,
you today?
I'm good. I'm good to see you. Glad to see you. And
Good.
welcome to our visitors who are joining today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say community, not visitors.
Yeah, our relatives. That didn't feel right when
Our
I said our visitors. That was like some foreign thing, you know. It's like we're all
Totally.
relatives. We're building spiritual community. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing this to share the teachings that you've been given and that you've learned and passing on from your teachings and our Indigenous mentors and elders and teachers. Thank you to each of them that we have worked
Oh,
with and directly, and to those who um yeah, all who come before us. So much
oh,
gratitude. And would you start us off today with a little prayer of, it doesn't have to be little, but a prayer of gratitude as we start in the spirit of sacred reciprocity, giving thanks before we ask for more.
yeah. Before we open to more, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned ancestors, and we wouldn't be here without our ancestors. So let's just take a moment here to drop in whatever way that has meaning for you, to drop into deeper awareness, to connect with the truth. I always like to try to work with things that are true, at least in my experience. And the more we put our attention, or more I put my attention into things that are true, that juices up the pipes. More I put attention into things that aren't true, thought forms that aren't true, it congests the pipe. So putting thought form of awareness, energy, consciousness into expressing gratitude, thanksgiving to our ancestors, going back in time. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for your sacrifices. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for all your prayers and ceremonies and initiatory experiences for the young people, passing on that wisdom from one generation to the next to give us our turn here now. And
Oh,
gratitude for the ancestral spirits of the land we're living on. For me here in Santa Barbara, the Chumash people, and remember grandfather Simu in the spirit world, and gratitude for all the ancestor spirits Chumash here and for the Chumash people living here. And gratitude to the ancestor spirits of your lineage and where you're living. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to do our part, to wake up, wise up, and to live love now. May it be so. Oh,
oh, thank you. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
So we did get a question this week, and it was about permanence. I don't remember the exact question, but it was because it was a little vague. It was Shauna L. Okay, yep, there it is. Shauna L. Asking, can you talk a little bit on permanence and a healthy relationship to permanence? So that was super interesting.
Oh,
Also the timing, because I found out one of my dearest friends is had a recurrence of the cancer that she's been dealing with. And so it brought up for me when I saw that question, the obvious question of death and dying, and then kind of extrapolating that out to how much we fight for things, how much we let them go, how much like that balance of trust and faith versus paddling to get where you want to go. And every shamanic ceremony that I've done, one of the most helpful instructions, principles that I've been given by you or and other teachers, is to really surrender into the medicine that you're being given. So wonder if you could talk about permanence, death, dying, fighting, surrendering, all that circle.
just kind of minor stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of minor
But
stuff.
nevertheless, let's take a stab at it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So permanence, how to have a good relationship with permanence. I think the best way to have a good relationship with permanence is to know that on the material level of quote unquote appears to be objects, including us, there's no such thing as permanence. everything is impermanent. Everything that comes into material form, physical form, has a particular time that it's going to be doing its vibrational dance in a particular pattern. Identify it as a human being, as you, as a mountain, as a rain cloud, as a flower, as a hummingbird, as a rock, as whatever. The universe itself, all in fact, constant change. The change might be in really subtle levels below the awareness of ordinary consciousness, but it's all a dance. It's an ongoing vibrational dance, in and out, open and closing. So there is nothing permanent on the physical plane, including us. And so if the identity, if my identity is just on my physical body, then when it starts to change, as in the aging process, it certainly is for me now, and eventually dissolves and merges back into the field in which it came from. If my identity is just with my human body, the container of my spirit, my life force energy for a period of time, then it's going to be pretty scary. That's all I know, my ego identity and all its stories in relationship to it. And I'm the truth is I'm much more than that. And so there is something that is permanent in a universe of impermanence. The irony is there is something, but it's not actually a thing. It's the process itself of change, of ongoing change. So not to hold on to, unless we want to create more tension for ourselves, holding on to something that's in movement. It's like going to a river, a river up in the Sierra after the big snow melts in the spring. Those rivers are just raging, just roaring. Wow, such great power. And it'd be like trying to step into that river and stop it. Just stand out in the river and try to stop. Well, I don't like the way you're going, or I don't like the fact that you're going, and so I'm going to go out there and try to stop you. Well, you're going to get swept away.
Yeah,
that's not an effective strategy that's going to help you achieve your goals. So take another look at your goal. And so if our goal is to unconsciously or unconsciously identify with and serve ego, and think that's all there is to us, when that starts to go, as it will eventually, then there's more pain and suffering with the experience of the death of all of that. And so how to be in a good relationship with an impermanent universe, metaphorically, is that river. Instead of you step into it, instead of trying to stop it or divert its flow, open to the power of that flow. And if you wade out a little further into the river, you can get caught up in that current. But if you do it consciously, you can surrender into that current, face downstream. Those of you who've been on whitewater runs and gotten instructions about how to be, if you get dumped into the river, get your feet downstream and let the current carry you, and use your legs as you head up toward a rock. The current carries you to a rock, to bounce off the rock and back into the main current, and let it carry you until eventually you'll hit an eddy, a calm spot in the river, and you'll be able to swim to the side. So surrendering into the flow of the universe instead of trying to fight it, and surrendering it not with a passive unconsciousness, but pay attention. Like you're in that you got dumped out of the boat and this huge power is carrying you downstream. So turn around and face where you're going, see where you're going, and be prepared to make the changes you need to make, given the obstacles of challenges of the rocks in the river, metaphorically, literally, so you can create relationship to them. And instead of getting hurtfully smashed into them, you can see them, you can prepare your body, you get your legs out, extend it out in front of you to bounce off the rock, back into that downstream current, relax into it, and enjoy the ride until you get to where there's an eddy. You can come out and back up on the land and go, wow, that was a good ride. Breathing out with gratitude for the creative flow of the universe. What in the Chinese ancient wisdom tradition, the Tao, the flow of the universe. So the question of how to create a relationship with permanence is to recognize its impermanence. It's always changing, and surrender into that flow of change, It's been around for a long time, knows how to manifest and sustain the universe, knows what it's doing. It's got a lot of mojo. So instead of trying to control it, open to its wisdom. And that's what indigenous science and the wisdom of indigenous traditions, paying attention to how that river works so you can be in harmony and balance with it and the changes that it makes. That's the essence of what's permanent, constant change, the underlying invisible energy force of the flow of the creative activating power of the universe. Oh, there you go.
That's it. There you go. Okay, game over. I love that metaphor that you just used of being in the river, and if you get tossed into the white water and finding your feet, getting your feet going downstream first, and it just makes me think of actually, like in my professional experience, when I've been in situations where I'm doing media management or situation management and kind of like crisis situations, or even on a more positive side, like getting ready for a big product launch or something. And it kind of just feels like you're just like, it's just the rapids are just like nonstop, right? And I think one of the reasons I've been successful in helping clients navigate and colleagues navigate in those situations is because I always remember, like, no matter how turbulent things are, like, do your grounding exercises, start your day with your prayer, keep drinking water, eating healthy, ground, walk barefoot on the ground, like connect to, there's always something bigger in the universe happening, and remembering that and keeping my feet in front of me going downstream. So that totally resonates. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, and by the way, you just for listeners, whoever's listening, Kimberly does an incredible job with all the things she just said, the crisis management and the mark, all that other stuff you just said. Does a really good job with it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. But back to, well, I guess it's all connected, hopefully, and everything we share, hopefully it resonates and gives you some little gifts to take forward in the week ahead for our community. But I want to go a little deeper, given my friends battling with facing cancer again, and your lifelong work of navigating, helping families and children facing life-threatening illness. And if you could talk just a little about, since our whole process, our whole time here on earth is really about letting go, but it certainly heats up when one is sick and faced with illness. Could you talk a little bit about that and some of the shamanic principles that you have used in your work with people facing life-threatening situations and illness? That
sure. Yeah. From my own experience in my own life and working with other people, I don't think we come into, excuse me, into full empowerment of our vitality and our creative potential of living our authentic, integral lives until we befriend our mortality, until we create an ally relationship with the fact, the truth, that we're not going to be here forever in this form and in this way, identified through our personality, our ego, our bodies. We're not going to be here forever. That's truth. And indigenous initiation experiences with young people, the youngsters are introduced to that fact real powerfully, that you're not going to be here forever. You're not here by accident, and Spirit has something in mind for you in this life, or purpose, and you're not going to be here forever. And it's mystery how long you're here for. You don't know that. The medicine I call the medicine of death can come and take you, me, at any time. So rather than be in fear and anxiety about that truth, how can I use that fact? How can I create relationship to that fact of my own impermanence and the mystery of the timing of how long I'm here for? How can I create a response to that fact, a relationship with it that empowers me in my living? Well, one way for me is, and forever I'm working with in the moment or the situation, is we're alive in this moment. Right now, we are alive in this moment. And on some level of consciousness, we're making a choice with that breath that comes into us for as long as we're alive about how we use it, to use the instrumentality of our mind empowered by that life force energy coming in through the breath from the creator. That choice we're making, either opening our awareness to spirit's presence, to love's presence, or it's closing or constricting our awareness, the bandwidth of our awareness and consciousness, to a very narrow bandwidth of identity through the body and the ego, which impoverishes our lives. And if I take responsibility for owning the truth, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I want to create with that breath that I'm given the richest, most vital, juicy experience of being alive in the moment that I can, with whomever I'm with and whatever I'm doing and wherever I am. Because I don't know after this act whether there'll be another one. The truth is, this act, whatever it is I'm doing.
I'm going over to Kimberly's.
Okay, thank you. Is the last act I'm going to do. It could be that. So let me really be present for it and like squeeze the juice out of it, you might say, to get and give all that I can. And the best way to get, of course, is the irony, instead of asking for, but it's to give. And what's the best thing I've got to give? The best thing I've got to give is love and support and kindness and celebration of this life we're sharing in this moment. And what's the highest potential of our joining together in this situation now? How might we best open the doorway to bring through what can really enrich this moment of our being alive and being together here right now? Opening heart, mind, body, spirit, opening our awareness to the presence of infinite, unconditional light and love, opening our awareness to that, merging into that truth, getting juiced by it, and being a channel for it, sending it out to each other, sending it out to whoever the wisdom, guidance in our heart, and being alive in the moment says, hey, this person or this situation or this animal or this plant or this part of the ocean or the planet or whatever could use some healing light and love, some support and kindness and affirmation and validation of the beauty of its being. And the more the more I send that kind of energy out, it's in the act of giving that I'm already receiving it, because on the deepest level, there's no separation between the giving and receiving. It's all one. It's all alaha. It's all sacred unity. So sitting with the eventuality of our own physical death, or we're with someone else and we love, to be fully present with our feelings and give ourselves permission to have whatever feelings of sadness, loss, grief, whatever feelings come up for us, to allow them to have to be expressed in a responsible way. And remember that being alive in this moment is the only time I can experience whatever I want to experience. So making a conscious choice. What do I want to co-create with spirit, with the breath coming in from spirit as my experience in this moment? And that the manifestation of that choice is dependent on what I focus on. Do I focus just on myself, my ego identity, and enhancing it and getting gimme, my? That'll bring some level of satisfaction, but it's not going to bring soul satisfaction. It's not going to bring heart satisfaction. What's going to nurture our hearts and our souls is when we take responsibility for that potential we're given in being alive here on Mother Earth, to activate our awareness connection with the truth, that we're connected with that infinite light, cosmic, creative wisdom, power, beauty, energy of the universe, light and love, aloha, cosmic love, be a channel for it out to all our relations, and with the holding the dream of the possibility of the healing of this sacred who, healing, meeting all these challenges that we're facing now in our lives and on the planet. It's possible with Great Spirit's guidance to create responses to all of these situations that heals the wounds and the causes of the wounds that lead to the hurtful behaviors, and to create a healthy and just and diverse and happy and beautiful win-win world for all. It's possible for us to create that if we open up to holding that as intention, recognizing Allah, our sacred unity, and surrender ourselves to Spirit to be used in precisely that process for the healing of the sacred hoop. So may it be so for all of us. And the wisdom of indigenous science and cosmology is the recognition that for all we're given, we need to give back. We need to give back gratitude. And that's what juices the creative powers of the universe to keep giving to us in sustaining and creating a healthy and just and beautiful win-win world. That's what's possible. And every breath that comes in, being alive, this is our opportunity to do it. Whether I've got 2 more breaths left or 20 years or 2 more centuries, whatever, I'm alive now. This is all I've got. Use it wisely, and in that way befriending our mortality, that I'm not here forever. So don't waste this moment with putting my energy into bullshit thoughts that aren't based on the truth and reality of how we're all connected. The essence of our being is love. And wake up, wise up, live love now, in this moment, being alive for fullest blossoming, greatest good. May it be so. Hey.
Oh.
Wop babaloo bop.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Shauna Na into the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's all really good and helpful. And I think you mentioned about gratitude and that concept opening up for more love and healing and peace and all that. But I also know that when one is, I'm super grateful that I don't know this directly, but from people very close to me, being diagnosed with cancer and other experiences that feel life-threatening, that, it's hard to stay in that place of gratitude when you're really physically suffering,
Yeah.
And so for this, our visualization for this week, we always do one on Shamanic Sundays. I wonder if you could lead us into a visualization about when we're feeling suffering, whatever it is, not even necessarily as extreme as a life-threatening situation, but things that are threatening just our sense of well-being in the week ahead. That could also be applied when we're facing real physical suffering too. So if you could lead us through some of that and helping us find strength for the week ahead, tools to access strength for the week ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Let's drop in here and listen and see what comes through. How to create a relationship response with physical, mental, emotional suffering, spiritual suffering is the question that's being asked, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, to bring awareness, first of all, the reminder, everything starts with intention. So whatever the experience of that suffering is, it is. The fact is, it's happening. It's happening. And our awareness is experiencing it in whatever ways it is. So just allowing ourselves initially to notice what that experience of suffering is like, the sensations of it, the feelings of it, with compassion and tenderness for ourselves and the fragility of our bodies, the fragility of it. Tremendously strong in some ways and also very, very tender and fragile. So just noticing the experience and whatever it is, that pain or suffering, noticing that with the breath out, there's literally energy leaving our body that's no longer needed. So I can breathe into that pain or suffering and just let some of it out with the breath leaving, carrying away what's no longer needed. And to whatever degree I'm able to breathe into the pain and let go with the breath leaving, it opens up a little more space with the next breath coming in, which is clean, totally clean, pure energy from the universe, healing light and love, and just sending it down to that place where the suffering is, where the physical suffering and pain is, just sending healing light and love down into that place. And asking ourselves the question, might it be possible for me to create a way of being with the suffering that I'm experiencing right now, that actually grows me in ways I want to grow? Might I want to grow in deeper faith and trust than I might, for instance, hold the thought in my mind that this pain and suffering, I'm reminded when a year or so ago, when I had my motorcycle wreck of my own fault and was lying in the street and couldn't move in tremendous pain, waiting for the ambulance to get there. And I was, my higher self gave me the thought of, in addition to sending healing light and love into those places that are screaming out in pain right now, you can also open your mind to that there's some life enhancing teaching or medicine lesson trying to come through this pain. The intensity of this pain is really got your attention, right? Pain gets our attention. So giving my full attention to it, trying to work with it, breathing in, breathing out, and then opening to what is it that might be trying to come through here? What lesson or teaching that if I get it is going to enhance my experience of being alive, even while this pain may continue to be there? What is it that might be trying to come through right now? And so what came through for me that in that painful state, and even after they took me to the hospital in the emergency room and gave me medication to help the pain, whatever it was, and it wasn't helping. The pain was like way beyond what they were giving me, and it was a hell realm. It was a hell bardo state. Again, there was a recognition that while that painful situation is taking place, I'm aware of it. My awareness is experiencing it, but it's not me. It is not me. It is not that experience of pain and suffering and fear and anxiety. That's not the essence of who I am. It's happening. My awareness is noticing it, but it's not who I am. So that in itself is waking up, using the pain and the suffering to wake up. There's more to me than my physical body and what it's going through that my awareness is experiencing now. There's way more to me. And so the waking up is connecting with that larger essence of who I am that existed before the awareness of my being came into the physical container of my body. And when my body goes, dissolves its physical form and merges back into the infinite field from which it came, there's a sense of peace that can start to come through, a little bit of ease. It's, oh yeah, my physical body, I came into this life to have a physical experience, to have an experience of on the physical plane. I'm having it right now through my body. And how can I be with it as skillful as I can, as tenderly, as responsibly as I can, and work with it as best I can, getting the help I need to deal with it, and using my conscious breath in and out to work with it, and opening to waking up. There's more to me. There's more to me. This is not happening by accident. It is a vehicle of opportunity to wake up to that deeper connection and get the lesson, the medicine that's trying to come through. And what came through that so clearly for me was, while all this suffering is taking place in intense agony and pain, Tomás, you have everything you need to open your heart and send healing light and love out to other people. other people who may be suffering in pain even more than you are. Send out that healing light and love, and send it out into the world. Send it out into Mother Earth and all the beings in the world and all the people suffering from oppression, discrimination, violence, abuse, all the people around the world suffering. Send out some of that healing light. So as I do that, I start doing that while still experiencing the pain, my energy state starts to change. My energy state starts to change. It doesn't necessarily make the pain or suffering go away. I'm just experiencing more of me in the moment. So it's growing my awareness of my interconnectedness with a deeper essence of being, of consciousness, of spirit that helps me move through the experience. And more often than not, for me, in my experience, opens a doorway, what the Huichos call the Neurika, for fullest blossoming, greatest good to come through that painful, difficult, and challenging situation. And that enriches our experience of being alive in the moment, even in the midst of the suffering. And I'm reminded of a young boy I worked with, the Center for Attitudinal Healing with children with life-threatening illness, whatever it was, 40 years ago or whatever. And, who was, because of his cancer and close to his dying, was just, I went to visit him, his home. He was going to cross at home. Intense pain and suffering. I mean, it was like really hard to just be there. I just had to keep surrendering and opening the spirit as a channel for spirit's healing light and love into him to help me be peaceful there with him. And in the midst of his pain and suffering, he said, I'm using it all. The children shall teach them, said Jesus years ago, be like the children to enter the kingdom of heaven. So he was teaching me, and while he was in agonizing pain, he was saying, and he was doing, I'm sending this light out and love to more people out in the world who are suffering. So there was this young teacher in this incredible situation of pain, close to his death, was showing me, teaching me. This is one of the incidences I talked about in my book I wrote a long time ago. Did they celebrate Christmas in heaven? Asked me by an 8-year-old boy the day before he died. Spiritual rite of passage teachings from children with life-threatening illness. Just available on my website for free. You can go check it out if you want. Is the ability, no matter what's going on, to access that part of us, which is more than our physical bodies are suffering. And through that access, remembering, waking up, being a channel for healing light and love through us and out into the world once again for the healing of the sacred hoop. May we all be strengthened in knowing the truth that we have the ability to create responses to whatever our suffering, fears, and anxieties might be in ways that truly do open the doorway to bring through fullest blossoming, greatest good. May it be so. Oh.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate that so much, Poppy. Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, that was a beautiful smile on your face when I opened my eyes and looked at you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
So yeah, good stuff as always. Thank you. Thank you to our community out there.
No.
May we all be harbingers of love and helping to feel and see the light, no matter what form of suffering we're experiencing in the coming week. Or maybe it'll just be an easy one. There's always that possibility too.
Yeah, and how to create ease.
Yes.
Another way to put it, work with the vehicles of opportunity that whatever presents itself in our life, how to use it as a vehicle opportunity to create a more easeful experience of being with whatever it is, including our suffering, how to be in a more easeful relationship with it. Right.
Of that easeful. May we have easeful responses and to the week ahead.
Okay, there you go. May it be so.
And get the word out. Thank you again for sharing. Thank you all for being here. Please do share Shamanic Sundays with anyone you think may benefit from it. And blessings for you in the week ahead.
Oh, vaya con Dios. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye.